But you've chosen to be here, and that says something about you. It tells us that you are a leader in your community. You're interested in the future of your community, the future of Nebraska, and the future of the country. So, because we know that about you, we're honored to spend some time with you this evening.
We never planned to make this movie. It was really not on our list of things to do, actually. And when we went down to the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico last year, and we witnessed the devastation that we saw, we realized that we had to do something. And that's what created freedom, ultimately. So the fact that we get to share it with you and that you're here is nothing short of miraculous.
Well, I'm Chief Executive of Green Plains Renewable Energy. It's an Omaha-based company that is a sleepy little $3 billion company that exists here in Omaha. We started about 4 years ago with zero revenues and zero profits, and today we're producing around 740 million gallons of ethanol in the United States.
So I can't tell you what an eye-opening experience it has been, coming from a place where I thought that ethanol was bad for the environment, to suddenly realizing that the answer was right in front of us and that we could completely become sustainable through ethanol.
And for me, it's about trying to help save America and get us back on course.
So we'd like to open it up to you for questions.
You know, I want to address that because I think that's one of the myths that really is not addressed in the movie right now, but we talk about it a lot. So what's the truth? In our ethanol plants across the country, we use about 3 gallons of water to make a gallon of ethanol. Sounds like a lot. But if you think about it and put it in perspective, to make a gallon of gasoline from a barrel of oil takes 42 gallons of water.
Something like 98% of the corn crop in the United States is not irrigated. And when I read criticisms of the ethanol industry, I often hear people saying, well, if you count all the water that it takes to grow the corn, but I don't count all the water that it takes to grow the corn because that water's coming down out of the sky anyway for 98% of the crop.
Well, it's hard to build a new sail on top of a ship when there's a gaping hole in the side. And until we plug that hole, all of the other conversations about our social issues are going to go back to the fact that we have a hole in the side of the ship. So your question couldn't be more timely.
A lot of people actually don't realize that Nebraska ethanol is ending up on a ship in the Gulf, and when the ship leaves, it's waving to the captain of the ship coming in from Saudi Arabia with oil. So we're actually exporting our ethanol and importing Saudi Arabian oil. Doesn't make any sense to me.
The thing that I don't understand about our democratic system is why the people at the top cannot grasp the significance of $300 billion a year flowing abroad out of the U.S. economy.
So you really want to start, you got to start at home, and you got to send a message to the convenience store, and you got to send a message to the automotive dealer. You want a flex fuel vehicle, and you want to fill it up with ethanol. And until you send that message, and we're not sending it in Nebraska, we're sending our ethanol somewhere else for somebody else to use. Until you send the message that you want this, how is the government going to say, yeah, here's a $250 kit, and here retrofit your car, but then again, you're not going to choose ethanol?
If Todd could have assurance that you could legally go out and buy E20 and E30 as a fuel and put it in your car, which you cannot do legally in this country. If you could, he'd be producing a lot more ethanol.
So when people are misinformed, as we've all been about ethanol, and you have that lack of information, you have a lack of power. I mean, Thomas Jefferson said every generation needs its own revolution. But we've been complacent because we've had nothing to unite behind to fight for. Because we turn on our television sets and we see that everything's fine. But who's paying for those ads? Who has that money to pay for those ads? Well, it's mostly large corporations that control all of the money, which for the most part is big oil.
And we have become a people who have bought into the myth. The only difference between that future and the future that we're living into is we're living into a future of choice. And what the Freedom Film is really about, and what this conversation is really about, and what these folks are really talking about, is the power that you have. And that is what America was founded on. And if we wish this beautiful, ingenious, inspiring experiment called America to continue, we're going to have to take back our power. And this is our time. This is our opportunity. I think we can all agree that we're all committed to giving our children clean air, clean water, clean fuel, and a clean future. And if that's what we're committed to, we're going to have to change it from something we say to something we do. And the doing may be imperfect at first, but it will be a lot better than what we're doing today. Ethanol is better than the Keystone XL pipeline.